All right, man. Danny Brown tier list. Honestly, I don't know when this is gonna come out. I might have just dropped the Black Midi video this week. As a quick announcement, like honestly, I've just been putting off stuff. I'll be like, oh, I gotta edit the video. I gotta edit the Afix, the D'Angelo video, that I have back in the vault, and I just don't do it for some reason. I don't know, man. I've been putting off some stuff lately. I don't know why. Yeah. I'm sorry if things get pushed back. I'll try to keep things up to like the schedule that I put on the community post that one time. It was kind of as a joke, but like I still kind of want to stick to it. So yeah, sorry if that's kind of inconveniencing to y'all. But yeah, let's just get into the Danny tier list. Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna have recency bias towards 40, but yeah, let's just get into it, man. I really have no other notes on that. All right, man. Starting us off in F tier, we got the ODEP. You can listen to this on streaming. It's literally just the last 3 tracks of 30. It's the deluxe edition, like, tracks. And yeah, they just aren't great. With It is a skip. Shouldn't Have is fine, and Baseline is fine. It's genuinely just, like, mediocre. Yeah, I genuinely have no notes on here. It's like a 2 out of 10. I really don't care. Above that is Black and Brown. This is really boring. Black Milk produced Really Dough, and the fact that he also produced this is kind of crazy, honestly. Because you have one of the hardest beats of all time, and then you have some of the most boring beats Danny's ever rapped over. Yeah, Black and Brown is just really boring. That's all I gotta say. It's like a light 3. I've never really liked this one. And then, I honestly, this could go in D tier, but I feel like, yeah, I'll put it in D tier. Yeah, it's gonna go in D tier. It's Hawaiian Snow. It's basically just a Tony Yayo project with Danny Brown in it sometimes. Like, there's literally songs on here and where the beat's good, and I'm like, okay, let's hear Danny go on this. And then he does never show up, and I'm like, seriously? This thing has 2 Lil B features. One of them is good, the other one's just meh. Or actually, I think both of them are kind of good. But, like, I don't know, man. It's just so hazy. I listened to this while I had a headache, and my headache got worse because of how boring and freaking just, like, how monotone Tony Yayo's delivery is. Honestly, Danny isn't even the problem on here. It's just super boring. The beats are boring. Lil B's cool, I guess. But, like, other than that, I don't, like, care. I just, it's so... Tony Yayo's monotone flow is literally... He literally sounds like 50 Cent, kind of. Like, I'm pretty sure he's part of G-Unit, and that's, like, 50 Cent's whole thing. Yeah, I'm not informed in that, but, like, dude, his voice is so monotone. This is how I rap. Like, it's so boring. It's a boring album. It's a decent, that's like a light to decent 4. There's some decent songs, but, like, geez, man. Yeah. Lil B ad-libs carry. Going into C tier, though, we got Detroit State of Mind 3. This just feels like Detroit State 1 and 2, or it just feels like Danny's other mixtapes, redone a little. I'm pretty sure this one was short. It was either that or Detroit State 2 that was short. It's just forgettable in comparison to all his other mixtapes. Like, this one's probably the one that I forget about the most. Nothing special, really no highlights. I'm gonna be honest with you, when I was listening to the mixtapes, I wasn't really taking notes. I wasn't really taking notes when I was listening to Danny's catalog, but I do, with the stuff that I like, I remember quite a bit of. Yeah, Detroit State 3 is just forgettable is all. It's still good, though. It's a light 7 for me. Above that, though, we got a pretty hit or miss project for me. It's Old. Old really grew on me off of second listen. I'll be honest with you, I was not a fan off rip. I genuinely thought, like, the first half, I was like, whoa, this is like S tier Danny Brown, bro. And then I heard the back half, I'm like, this is so bad. And the back half kind of grew on me. I like some of the tracks off the back half. I think I like the opener to the back half because I think it's really funny. I think it's called, like, Dope Song. That song's really funny. And then the second track is also pretty good. I like the beat on that one. But let's talk about the first side. I think the first half is pretty consistent. I don't really think there's awful songs. I think there's a few skips, but, like, The Return is a really good highlight off of the first half. I really like, I think it's called, like, I don't remember the song, but there's a song, I think it's called, like, Lonely. That's a really good song, It's kind of inconsistent and a little all over the place, but I appreciate it as an album. It's a light to decent 7 for me. Old is a good listen. Above that, though, I'm going to have to throw You Know What I'm Saying. This is also just a good album. I actually used to hate this one quite a bit. I probably would have put it in F tier, I'll be honest with you. I thought the production was not good. I didn't like the features. I really thought it was hazy. It was super boring to me. I didn't like this album at all, for rip. It's grown on me since then, though. It's a good listen. it's really like, it's just quality, man. I don't think it's anything like special. I think it's got one of Danny's funniest album covers, though. That's all I really gotta say. I like the Run the Jewels feature on here, but the song with JPEG Mafia specifically, like the one where he's like, where his name is literally on the track, that song is not great. As I said, though, 3 Tears is a great song. Dirty Laundry, that's a good song. It's just a consistent album. There's really no awful songs besides the one where JPEG is specifically featured on it. That's all I gotta say. It's a good album. It's a strong 7 for me. And then another strong 7 is The Hybrid. This used to be my favorite Danny project, which is kind of wild, to be honest with you. Like when I was first listening to Danny, I was not the biggest fan of everything. I like, this was probably my favorite by him because I didn't like, it was probably his most accessible to me. I feel like Hot Soup was a little bit too samey for me, but this had that perfect balance of like hooks, strange production, and I don't know, man, something about it, it just really hit with me. I don't know why. And like I said, it was like my favorite Danny project for some time. Yeah, I just realized I don't have a project on here. Let me go get it real quick. Hold on. I just wanted to snatch the Twitch EP and throw it on here. It's unofficial, but I'm including it because I think it'd be fun. Yeah, but The Hybrid, as I said, this used to be my favorite Danny project. It used to be a 10 for me, but then I re-listened to it, and I'm like, why did I think this was a 10? Yeah, it's just a good album, man. It's a strong 7 for me. Really nothing more to say. And then above that is the album that I threw on here right now. It's the Twitch EP. It's got some good songs on it. It's a little abstract. It's got some, as I said, it's just got some good songs on it. I genuinely don't really remember much from here. I really like the opener, though. I like the feature on there. It's kind of weird, but, like, it works. It's a little loud. It kind of reminds me of, Tantor off of Quaranta. I hope I don't butcher that. If I say it wrong a few times, like, don't make fun of me. I actually do make fun of me. That's kind of funny. But, yeah, Twitch EP is just, it's a good thing. It's good, man. It's pretty good. Honestly, I'll throw it in C tier. It's a strong 7 to a light 8. You know, it's in that territory. It's good. Above that, though, we have Detroit State 2. This one's good, man. It's just another good Danny mixtape. This is the short one, I think. I mixed this up with Detroit State 3. Yeah, it's just a good EP. Good EP. It's a good album. It's a good mixtape. Consistent. I don't really remember there being any awful moments in Danny's mixtape catalog. I remember there being some weird moments, but I genuinely don't remember there being any, like, moments for me in most of the mixtapes. And this is definitely one of them. I just think it suffers from, like, the Detroit State 3 problems, where it's a little forgettable in comparison to his other mixtapes. Yeah, it's just really good, though. It's a light 8 for me. And then above that, I'm going to have to throw It's a Art. That sounds so wrong to say. This is definitely one of Danny's most experimental mixtapes, if not one of his most experimental projects. It sounds super weird, like genuinely off-kilter. The production's whack. He uses his normal talking voice on some of these tracks. I'd say even like half of these tracks. He uses that, and paired with like the weird hazy production, it like makes for this weird album experience that I can't really describe. That album cover for it is actually awful. I was just screenshotting the ones off the album of the year. Yeah, but it's just really weird. It's hazy. It's kind of strange. There were some songs on here where I'm like, I don't like this. But to be honest with you, it's one of Danny's most experimental mixtapes. It's very fun, and I think his like normal voice rapping is pretty interesting. It's a light 8 for me as well. Then above that, I have Detroit State 4. This is definitely Danny's like most experimental Detroit State album. This really shifts away from like 1, 2, and 3 and goes in a more experimental, quote unquote, direction. Yeah, it's just, there's definitely some weirder tracks on here. This was definitely one of the more choppy mixtapes for me, but it does have some pretty weird and fun songs on it. It's like It's a Art and the Detroit State trilogy, or I don't know what you call like 4 albums. Like, what would you call that? It feels like it just feels like Danny shifting from his old mixtapes to a weirder, more outlandish sound. Picture more Detroit State 1, but toned up a little with more experimentation. Yeah, it's a decent 8 for me, honestly. I like this one. And then above that, I have Hot Soup. This one's very fun. I think like this also has one of Danny's like most iconic songs, "What Up, Doe." That's like an instant Danny classic. It's really consistent. There's a few weaker tracks towards the end with admittedly weaker production, weaker rapping, and just weaker features. But I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty consistent towards the front end. The first like 2/3 are pretty great. Back third is a little but yeah, it's pretty consistent. I'll say that. It's a pretty great album. It's a decent to strong 8 maybe. I don't know. It's pretty good. In A tier though we have Detroit State 1. This is one of the weirdest Danny albums. Like seriously, this is probably his most experimental mixtape if you don't like Call 30 a mixtape. Yeah, like seriously, he raps over Tom Sawyer, which was one of the weirdest Danny songs of all time. Like seriously, I hear like Geddy Lee and then I hear Danny rapping. I don't even know if Geddy Lee was like singing, but like you just hear like the I don't know, man. It was super weird. There's really no bad songs on here. It's like 50 minutes of just pretty good rapping from Danny, pretty good production. It's really fun. It's a fun start for Danny, I'll say that. It's a fun album. It's a light 9 for me. I really enjoyed it. Then above that, we have Brown Town. These two mixtapes are pretty close for me. I'll be honest with you. I forgot about it. I totally forgot about the Scaring the Hose DLC pack. DLC pack would go under Hot Soup. I genuinely think that DLC pack just suffers from like half of it being pretty great, man. Honestly, kind of peak. And then the other half just being like good, you know? Like no. I'm not gonna go with the rest. No is it's a good song. Tell Me Where to Go is a good song. Hermanos is great. I really like that song. I kind of overplayed it though. And then Guess What? We Back. That's a fantastic song. Hearing that live made me float into the air. Yeah, it's like front loaded. Like the first half is really good and the back half is just like good. It's a decent 8 for me though. It's still quality. And as I said though, above Detroit State 1, we probably have Browntown. Browntown's just really fun. It's got some very great production and it's got some pretty great rapping from Danny. I noticed it was a little more conscious. It's kind of conscious hip hop. Yeah, it's fun, man. It's a fun little album. It's very underrated. I'll say that. Like seriously, man, this is a pretty great Danny project. It's really good, man. It's a light to decent 9 for me. Then above that, we have Hybrid Cutting Room Floor. This is just like better than Hybrid in general. Like seriously, it feels like more Browntown. It kind of feels like this and Quaranta are pretty close for me because I feel like they're kind of similar sounding. I feel like they both have like the same soundscape. This one has some more like low, kind of moodier cuts on here. This one has some moody cuts, I'll be honest with you. There's a song on here, I don't even remember what it's called, but it's like Danny raps in a more like, I don't know, peaceful tone, you know? He's kind of doing his talking voice, like how he does on Quaranta. I feel like I could draw similarities between these two. I don't know, something about them. Like I listened to Hybrid Cutting Room Floor, and then like maybe a few days later I listened to Quaranta, and I kept thinking about the two. I kept thinking about Hybrid Cutting Room Floor while I listened to Quaranta. Yeah, Hybrid Cutting Room Floor though is pretty great, man. It's a light to decent 9 as well. And then above Hybrid Cutting Room Floor, we have Quaranta. Honestly, I feel like Browntown, Hybrid Floor, and then Quaranta are all pretty close for me. I'd probably all rate them the same. But Quaranta is one of, if not Danny's most personal album. He goes into this like it's kind of like it's a art in the sense that he's using his more normal voice. Like he's not using the he's going like just normal. He's just rapping like how he talks. And over these really serene and very laid back instrumentals, he's really just telling you how he's feeling at the moment. He's not really trying to give you this crazy, extravagant best album of all time like how he is on like 30, you know. At least I feel like that. I feel like he's just saying like, hey, this is how I'm doing right now, man. I heard 2 leaks from this album. You could probably find them. They're posted on the same YouTube channel. It's just 2 songs. One of them is very like depressing. And the other one was just good. But it's also kind of depressing. Like I feel like this is just Danny's like, it's honestly such a sad album to listen to. It's like, I feel like he wasn't even trying to be sad. I feel like he's just kind of like, this is how I'm feeling, you know? But it's like Bass Jam honestly got me tearing up for some reason. I don't know why. It just feels like Danny's moving on, you know? Like he's going just forward with himself. He's quitting everything he's done in the past. He's just moving forward, and he's trying to push forward through what he's going through, if that makes sense. Yeah, Quaranta is fantastic. There's really no bad song on here. I think YBP, like the beat is good, and I'm like, okay. And then Bruiser Wolf comes in, and he got that like old school 80s delivery, and I'm like, nah, bro, stop. Yeah, it's a fantastic album, though. It's a light to decent 9 for me. It's easily top 10 of the year, honestly. Yeah, it's a pretty great album. And then going into S tier, we got 30. This is a classic, bro. I think my only problem with it is that there are some weaker tracks on here, like Live 4 or Bruiser Brigade. But other than that, man, it starts really good, you know? With Pac Blood, I Will has some of the best production of any Danny song. That might be one of my favorite beats off of any song from him. I'm just gonna say 30 has some of Danny's best production, like best production off of any Danny project. I think that some of these beats are better than the ones on Atrocity Exhibition. I take that back. No, yeah, I agree with that statement. I feel like some of the beats off of here go insano. Like Fields, fire. Nosebleeds, the beat on Nosebleeds made me just like, I was like, whoa. Pac Blood beat, fire. As I said, I Will is fantastic. The title track, 30, like the closer, just the beat on that is insane. What else, man? Freaking, I can't think of the name. What is it called? I can't think of the name. What is it called? I don't know. There's so many good beats on here. Like, the production is fire. Denny's rapping. He just sounds so, like, he doesn't care, dude. Seriously, he does not care. He's just, it's like he grabbed a beat tape and was just like, let me talk my shit, man. It's so good. It's so good. This album's fantastic. 30, it's a strong 9 to a light 10. Like, there's some of the best Danny songs on here. It's, like, kind of inconsistent, but also very consistent, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's a really jumbled album, but it's really fun. As I said, strong 9 to a light 10. Above that, though, we have Scaring the Hoes. This is my Peggy bias coming in. I glaze him all the time. You guys know that I love Peggy. This has fantastic production from Peggy, fantastic bars from Danny and Peggy. I don't know, man. It's Scaring the Hoes. I've talked about this in the Peggy video. I feel like everyone knows, like, the general consensus around this album. You either like it, you either think it's one of the greatest albums of the year, or you hate it, you know? And I am the second one. Yeah, STH is a 10, honestly. It's fantastic. And then number 1 is Atrocity. I genuinely, like, don't think I don't think I have to explain this, but I will. This is probably the best hip-hop album to me right now. As of right now, when I'm recording this, November 22nd, 2023. Atrocity, as I said, is my favorite hip-hop album of all time. It's genuinely one of the craziest listens I've ever heard. Like, dude, the production on here, this in 30 and STH, of course, like, all compete in terms of production. Like, Atrocity has Pneumonia, White Lines, Really Dough, Ain't It Funny, When It Rain. What else, man? The Downward Spiral, man. Tell Me What I Don't Know. Rolling Stone. Lost. Lost is like a 10 out of 10 song. There's so many good songs off of here. And, like, Danny's voices, like, his voice is probably its most piercing on here. Like, you listen to his rapping on here, and it sounds crazier than it ever has, you know? The production's insane. There's, like, no skip off here. I will say, though, my only problem with it is that the last 3 tracks are easily the weakest. I like Get High. I think it's a good song. I think Hell For It is a good song, and I think that Today is a good song. But, like, they do not compare to everything else on this album. It is a little front-loaded, I'll be honest, but it's, like, it's just, like, bro, oh my god, dude. It's Atrocity Exhibition, man. This has so many. I'll list all the 10 out of 10 songs right now, okay? Lost, 10 out of 10. Ain't It Funny, 10 out of 10. Really Dough, 10 out of 10. When It Rained, 10 out of 10. What else, man? There's more. Freaking Gold Dust, 10 out of... No, it's not a 10 out of 10. But that's, like... There's so many fantastic songs off of here. And I think it's just... It's got way too many bangers. It's got way too many of, like, Danny's best songs on here to not throw it at number 1. and it's got too many like fantastic songs to not give it a 10 out of 10. As I said, it's my favorite rap album right now. It could change. It probably will change. And it'll probably get replaced by like some Peggy album or something, because I'm like that. But yeah, Atrocity 10. It's obviously like the basic pick, but I don't care, man. And there's my Danny tier list. I highly recommend you go and listen to his mixtapes. I think if you like Hot Soup to some degree, if you think it's a good album, you should at least listen to like Detroit State 1, Brown Town, and Hybrid Cutting Room Floor. If you want more, you obviously listen to the other ones. I don't know. Yeah, Danny's insanely consistent. I think that like it looks like there's a lot in C tier, and you might be like, oh, you think that some of his catalog's like mid? Nah, dude. I think C tier is like the good albums. Like if I had to, I feel like I should start like putting categories here where I think like F tier is bad. I think D tier is probably just like boring or alright. And then like C tier is good. B tier is great. B tier is with the great albums. I probably will start doing this, honestly. And then A tier amazing. And then S tier go like, I don't want to capitalize. But like I should probably start doing that so people get like the point. Because I feel like when you see a bunch of albums in C tier, you're like, man, you don't like Danny Brown, but like I do. I think these albums are just good, and so yeah, share your rankings in the comments. What's your least favorite Danny project? Do you think he has misses? You know, what's your favorite by him? Do you think Scaring the Hoses is 10? I do. What do you think on Quaranta? Yeah, what's your favorite Danny song? My favorite's When It Rained. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm glad you made it this far in the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.